Hello, my name is Jim Mullany from Verteq Process Solutions. Today is Wednesday, May 6, 2020. Today I'm doing a video source inspection on a refurbished Verteq 1800-6 spin rinse dryer. These videos are uploaded to our website, to our YouTube channel, so we do not give our customers names on them for their privacy. However, we do give their PO number so they can know it's their tool. It's 25001573. This system has came in for a full refurbishment. I won't go over our refurbishment process during this video. It's a multi-step. There's the whole tool gets broken down, inspected, all the parts are tested, replaced if necessary. The customer has the detailed remanufacturing specification, which has the about 35 or 40 line items. So this customer's rinser dryer came in missing a few things. It had no shrouds, top and bottom, and no kick panel cover. We went ahead and used our own shrouds to give the customer, and they need to install their own kick panel cover. Basically, the kick panel works, but there's a flat piece that goes across so you can go back and forth. However, we don't have the kick panel because, again, most of the tools don't use that option that we refurbish, and this customer did have it. So what I'm going to do is we have a typical process here. It's a rinse, a dry one and dry two. The rinse obviously is the DI rinse. Dry one is a high RPM, short duration spin off to blow the water off the wafers, the cassette, and the rotor. And then dry two is a longer duration, slower RPM to dry everything. We do have 300 seconds in dry two. However, I've done testing, and after about 100 seconds, 125, the cassette, rotor, and wafers are totally dry. But if you want all the little water spots to dry off the doors, you have to run a longer dry. I'm going to go ahead and run it for 300 seconds. That will give me time to talk about our rebuild specification, how we do things at Verteq and our other products. And that way the customer can see that it ran a complete 100% dry process. They can minimize the process, which they will because they have their own process already designed. Okay, so the kick panel. The left kick panel down here opens the bottom door. So one thing you're going to hear is the Verteq, this system uses between 60 and 90 psi. We found that for a double stack you have to have it at least at 80 plus psi. That's the purge. This Verteq purges a lot more than other rinser dryers. It uses a lot more nitrogen and it's very loud. So I'm going to open the two doors, but it'll be kind of loud. Okay, so if you're in a wafer fab, a typical process. You have your cassette, usually wet, coming out of a wet sink. You come in, you load it, and you have to close the door. I got a seat down there. There we go. Same thing with the bottom. Imagine we load that, and we close the door. As you can see, with the kick panel option, you have to use the kick panel because there's no handles on the door. One of the reasons also for the high pressure needed is that this seal does not have, it's not an inflatable air seal, it's a friction fit seal. So the plexiglass window has to be perfectly tight and very secure against this window. So you have a large piston that opens and closes the door, and that needs the high PSI to be able to work properly. So you have your wafers loaded, you simply hit start. I have 30 seconds in rinse, and I'll hit start. We understand some of the safety measures with COVID-19. The only reason I do not have my mask on now is because you wouldn't be able to hear me really in the video. But at Verteq, we have all the precautions. We have a lot of our people working from home. The people that are in manufacturing all wear masks and gloves. We have very strict guidelines here to be followed, but again, I'm in final test, so by myself with Caitlin, who's doing the video, so I took my mask off so you could hear me better. Okay, we have about another 50 seconds to go. I'm gonna, here we go. Now we're ramping up into high RPM. So what that is it's gonna go up to 1200 RPM. The Verteq has a sensor, a speed sensor, that if you get past 1450 RPM, it'll shut the tool down. And the Verteq controller tends to overshoot like it just did. See, it's at 1232. So you can't push up that limit because it'll overshoot and trip the sensor. The manual says $1,200 at 1,200 RPM, not dollars, is a good RPM to run the first dry cycle. You also notice because of the variation of RPMs, the Verteq, and we've seen it across the board, tend to have a pulsating as the power is being sent to and reduced from the motor. Okay, now we're going to go into step 2, which is really step 3. With Verteq, step 0 is 1. So you have to, when you look at the step, it's really plus 1, whatever you see. So step 0 is rinse, step 1 is dry 1, step 2 is dry 2. All right, and now they're ramping back down to 500. This is where the video gets pretty boring because nothing can happen. You're just going to watch this. So I'll talk about our remanufacturing process. So at Marteq, we are the premier world rebuilder of traditionally the semi-tool spin rinse dryers. We are the #1 builder. We do more rebuilds than anybody. We have 100% spare parts. We also have control system upgrades that allow a refurbished system that Marteq has to be as good as any new rinse dryer available on the market. Again, a year ago, we purchased the Marteq Verteq product line. We're learning about that. We have all the IPA rights, we have all the manuals, we have the inventory, we have their systems, and they're giving us continual support. The Verteq's a much different animal than the semi-tool, so we're kind of working our way through, and we're hoping in another 3 to 6 months we are really up to speed on all the parts on the systems. So, in our manufacturing process, for Verteq, we take the bowls out and have them reprocessed. This system actually had the bowl repolished for high polish. Our traditional one process is a special in-house blasting that we do of reconditioning the bowl than a new EP. But this customer, we opted to go with the high polish bowls. It's a much higher cost, but we didn't charge them that amount. So when the bowl comes back, during the time it's out, all the key components are tested, rebuilt, and checked. That would be heaters, it would be solenoids, it would be valving, all the wiring. Everything's gone through. Again, it's part of a rebuild specification. Once the bowl comes back, we do our dry build. We build the system up in our dry manufacturing area and actually run the tools, but with no DI water. Once a tool is deemed to be ready from dry test, we have another technician review the tool, make sure it passes the inspection. Once it does, it moves into final test, and we put the DI on the system to start checking for leaks. Usually it's just a small valve, it has to be tightened up and so forth. Once that's all done, and the system goes through 50 process runs with no errors, the sales is then called down, and we do the video source inspection for the customer. We're in Rockland, California, and it's not really cost effective for customers to come all the way up here just to do a source inspection on a machine. So we do every one of our tools we ship, no matter what it is. It could be metrology, it could be rinser dryers, it could be box wash, it could be mask cleaners, are all videotaped for acceptance. So that talks about our remanufacturing process. Since this is a customer's tool, we get this the staining on their plastic fronts. That is not our. We don't replace that. Otherwise, you'd have to replace the whole tool basically. But we see that quite common in certain fabs. It's a buildup of material, and we know we can't take it off. You can't use acetone. You can't use IPA. You can't use lacquer thinner. You can't use anything. It doesn't come off. You'd have to scrape it off with a sharp object, which then could damage the plastic. So we don't do it. Okay, so let me talk about our website. If you go to SciTechProcess.com, you'll see the first buttons on the left-hand side all are related to semi-tool. We do the ST, the F, and the S. We have 100% spare parts, service, and repairs. Then you also have the Verteq spin rinse dryers. We are adding more to our website all the time, but we do controller repairs now, we do amp repairs, we do motor rebuilds, we do quite a lot. And if you go down, you will see that our other key wet processing products are the Integris Floor Wear box washer. We do a lot of those box washers. We go complete remanufacturing of them and have a ton of spare parts. We also do the Ultra T, Ultratech, and K&S mask and wafer scrubbers. We also do metrology work. We have particle counters, the KLA 10-core. We do nanometric systems. We do lipsometry equipment, both Gertner, Rudolph, and so forth. We have a Ambio system for film measurement. And we also do high and low power microscopes. I can see on our back wall here we already have 3 Nikons there for doing inspection. We do quite a lot of microscopes also. Okay, at 35 seconds left. So what's going to happen is when we count down to 0, it'll start spinning down. It'll then reorient, we call home position, which is 12 o'clock. Once that happens, I can use the foot lever, and I can open both doors. I'm going to wait for 30 seconds because that extra purge stays on. Actually, what I will do is I'll open it and let you hear how loud it is, and then you'll hear it stop after 30 seconds. Then, at the end of the process, you have N2 purge and an LPP purge, low pressure. At the end of that 30 seconds, only LPP is on, but again, it's quite loud. Okay, the top system's winding down, the bottom system's winding down. There's our upright. And the bottom system should upright in a second. There we go. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and do the top system first. That's the purge I talked about. As you said, it's quite loud and aggressive. It's coming out hard, 90 psi. Cassette's nice and warm. Wafers are all dry, clean. The bowl's dry, the window's dry. Everything looks really nice. Okay, the purge is turned off. See how much difference it makes? You can still hear a quite aggressive purge, but not as bad. In the fab, most customers wait the 30 seconds before they take the wafers out. So it's not so loud in the wafer fab. As you know, there's lots of noises in the wafer fab. Okay? Let's look at the bottom cassette, nice and hot. Wafer's nice and dry, all 8-inch. Alrighty, so that will conclude this video source inspection of a refurbished Verteq 1800-6 8-inch spin rinse dryer. Again, my name is Jim Mullany from Marteq Process Solutions. Today is Wednesday, May 6, 2020. If you have any questions, feel free to call our main number at 916-797-9000 and ask for anyone in our sales organization. Thank you. Have a great day.